Hey, what's up, everybody? Chris here, and I'm recording this on the Thursday where there were a lot of rumors swirling that today might be the day that Nintendo reveals the Switch Pro model ahead of E3. It's about 11:30 a.m. in the morning, so I don't know, what could happen later this afternoon. I have a feeling that that's not going to happen. It could be something that, comes a little bit further down the line. We'll just sort of wait and see, but if they do end up revealing it as soon as I finish recording this video, which would not be a surprise at all, of course, I'd have to make a whole other video, but I will record a follow-up reaction to that just to kind of comment on that, but I have a feeling we're not going to see that. But let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what I want to see from Nintendo at this year's E3. So for me, the biggest thing I want to see is this, Breath of the Wild 2. I want details on it, I want a release date, I want to see the gameplay, I want to see the story. I do think still, and I've said this in videos in the past, that this is going to launch alongside the new Switch model. I do think that we're going to get that model at some point. Whether or not it's actually teased today or shown today remains to be seen. It could be in the coming weeks or months, but I do think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to launch alongside it. I do think still that that's going to be something that we see in holiday 2021. So really in November is when we should get this game, I think. So, I think even if there is a new Switch model coming out, it's probably going to also be available on the standard Switch and the Switch Lite, because why wouldn't it be? They'd be leaving a ton of cash on the table not to release it alongside both of those models, assuming the Switch Pro is a thing that we're going to see relatively soon. But I want to see gameplay. I want to see some more depth with that, and I think we're going to get that at E3. If we don't get that, I'm going to be really surprised, and that's going to tell me that Nintendo is having a lot of issues, probably due to COVID, and sort of its after effects with getting what they need to get done and accomplished. But I'm going to be shocked if we don't see more of Breath of the Wild 2. I'm sure we're going to see more about Splatoon 3, probably. It seemed like that was something when it was teased, however many months ago that was, that they were probably going to show more of in the coming months. And I think that the trailer for that we saw at whatever Nintendo Direct that was, and I just can't even remember at the moment, said that more footage would be coming in the coming months, so I imagine we'll see more about that. I'm hoping that there's going to be a story mode associated with that, and again, there may have been something said about that already, but anyway, Splatoon 3 is something that I think we're going to see more of. If we don't, again, I'll be kind of stunned by that, but that's probably going to be another staple of their E3 presence. I've made a number of videos about Mario Kart, and recently one about what I want to see from Mario Kart 9. I think that would be a really nice feather in their cap to put Mario Kart 9 out there. It's long, in my opinion, past due. It's probably been in development for a while, but I want to see something of that. That could be another game that we see launch alongside the Switch Pro, but I don't know that they really need two killer apps, so to speak, to go alongside that new system, that new model of the Switch. So it could be something coming down the road, but I would love to see a little bit of a preview of that. I think that would be a really nice thing to see. That's one of their major franchises. If they don't have that ready, I wouldn't necessarily be stunned, because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still continues to sell really well, and as I mentioned in my other video, it's broken all kinds of records, and I think recently broke the record for, best-selling racing video game in US history, maybe. But either way, I think it would be really great to see some more about what they've got in store for us when it comes to Mario Kart. I think we're going to see a little bit more about Skyward Sword HD, but I think we may also get a Zelda Trilogy collection, and that could include Ocarina of Time, that could include Majora's Mask, and it could include, who knows, Twilight Princess maybe, even though that's not really one of my favorite Zelda games. I could see all of those being bundled together in much the same way that Mario 3D All-Stars was, and that could be something that they've had in the works for a while, but they just decided to save it for E3, maybe because development got pushed back a little bit on that. And I will say, I would like to see these as remasters. That's probably, honestly, a pipe dream at this point, but I think it would be really cool to see Ocarina of Time done with the Breath of the Wild engine. I mean, can you imagine how fantastic and amazing that would look? People will buy Ocarina of Time as it exists without any hesitation, probably, but if it were redone with the Breath of the Wild engine, it would just be, chef's kiss, right? It would be just an amazing thing to see. So I do expect some kind of Zelda stuff, maybe beyond what we've seen so far. I would hope anyway. I mean, maybe they really put all of their cards on the table with Skyward Sword HD, but I think there may be a little bit more in store for us. I also think Metroid Prime Trilogy is something that needs to happen. Again, it probably won't be a remaster. It'll probably be revamped controls like we saw or have seen with Skyward Sword HD, just to try and get people caught up ahead of Metroid Prime 4. Speaking of, I think a little bit of the footage of Metroid Prime 4, even if it's still kind of limping along development-wise, would be a good thing. Just a brief trailer, and I've seen some people use the word sizzle reel, right? A sizzle reel that shows us where they're at with that would be a good thing. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that's a part of this, because I really would love to play that and see kind of where, you know, they're at with it and have a sense of when we maybe can expect that. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of Pokemon something or another. I'm not the biggest Pokemon fan, so to be perfectly honest, there've been so many of these games, whether it's, you know, Pokemon Snap, new Pokemon Snap, or Pokemon Legends, or whatever it's called. I just can't remember all of the Pokemon games, but I'm sure there'll be something regarding that in some capacity at this E3. I know people are really massive fans of Pokemon, and I think that's awesome for Nintendo. It's just, again, not one of the franchises that I ever really got invested in. I think it's one of those things that I was just maybe a little bit too old to really get into when it first came out, and I think it looks like a great game, and I've tried playing different Pokemon games over the years, but it just never really put its hooks in me for one reason or another. But because Pokemon is such a big thing, and because people are so excited about upcoming Pokemon titles, I'll be shocked if we don't see a little bit more about that at this E3. I also would really love to see Mario Odyssey 2. And again, that's probably something that's, if it's in development, I'm sure it's got a ways to go. But what we saw with Bowser's Fury, right, when Mario 3D World was released, leads me to believe that they've got something in the works with Odyssey 2, or some kind of new Mario title. So hopefully we get a glimpse of a new Mario game that's not going to be a new quote-unquote Super Mario Brothers title, where it's kind of the usual revamped 2D side-scrolling setup. So I would love to see a new Mario game in some capacity. I think a new Mario Galaxy game would totally blow my mind, and I would love that. I don't know that we're going to get it. That's just me kind of being wishful and pie in the sky, spitballing at this point, but some kind of new Mario game would be great. Anyway, those are my, I think, semi-realistic, maybe not totally realistic thoughts from what I would love to see from Nintendo at E3. Let me know what you think we're going to get from Nintendo at this upcoming virtual conference, or maybe it's a face-to-face conference. I think it's probably virtual, mostly anyway. But let me know in the comments below what you think about it, and as always, thanks for watching.